Welcome everyone. In today's video, we are cooking a brisket on my new Weber Searwood 600. I haven't cooked a brisket in 3 years and I've never cooked a brisket on this Searwood, so I'm really excited for today's cook. So 4th of July weekend, HEB had their briskets on sale. I got a 10 pounds brisket. This one was pre-trimmed. It had the decal removed. I've had some luck out of those over the years, but this one here did have a little gash in there. No big deal. Seasoned it up pretty heavily here with salt, pepper, and garlic, keeping it pretty basic. But I'm ready to start cooking. It is 8:51 p.m. The plan is to cook this overnight on the Searwood. Hopefully it'll be done by lunch. Worst case scenario, dinner tomorrow. So let's cook this on the Searwood. But first, we got to start the fire. Okay, so I am going to cook this brisket on the top rack. Reason being, I've only seen one other video where someone doing this on the 600. I wanted to show you guys it can be done. And plus, when I was cooking my Rectech, I always had a water pan. So this way I can put a water pan underneath the brisket. I have the point on the right-hand side because my grill is much hotter on the right-hand side than it is the left-hand side. And as you've probably noticed by now, there's no smoke rolling, so my plan is to actually start this with the brisket on already. Now I know some people are going to say that's going to give you dirty smoke. I've never had a pellet grill give enough smoke flavor to have dirty smoke be an impact. If anything, I think this actually helps a little bit with getting a little bit more smoke flavor on here. Plus my grill runs about 30 degrees lower than what the temperature says on the Searwood. So if I do super smoke and it's at 180, my grill is probably more likely around the 150 mark. We're gonna test that a little bit today as well. But let's go and get this started. I am gonna start on the super smoke for the first hour or two. It's almost 9 o'clock now. And I think when I go to bed, I'm an old man, I go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock. I'll set it to about 250. And then let it smoke through the night. I will have the temp probe in there and set to 195 in the off chance that it gets that hot overnight before I wake up. Otherwise, I should be able to sleep all night long. All right, the meat probe is inserted. The grill is on. Let's set this thing to 200 and I'll adjust it to super smoke on the app. I haven't really used the front gauge at all to learn how to do that just yet. All right, let's start this cook. So if this reaches 195 overnight, I will wrap it to rest. Otherwise, I don't plan to wrap this. If I wake up in the morning, it's 160, 170. I'll probably foil boat it. I seem to prefer the foil boat method on pellet grills than the butcher paper wrap or the foil wrap. But again, I'm hoping this is an easy cook. And I'm really excited about monitoring this from the app. My Rectech Bullseye didn't have Wi-Fi, so this is my first time to do a high-tech cook. I'm excited for that. I almost forgot to check pellets. Hopper's almost completely full. Hickory pellets from Lumberjack in there. That noise is kind of odd, but it's starting up. But I may top it off a little bit before I go to bed, though. We're going to go ahead and do the smoke boost here. From the app, we're going to set up my probe. I want a temperature alert. Let's see here. 190 is when I wanted to start being notified. It's taking a minute. Even though my patio got full Wi-Fi. Let's try again. There we go. This might have been a hiccup with the app. So this cook, we have the smoke boost on. Let's go back and look at that. Probe again. Make sure that alert. Looks like it took. Excellent. All right, we're good to go here. Let's watch this grill as it starts to really smoke up here. This is getting started. We're at 90 degrees, shooting for 180. Like I said, I'm not at all concerned about dirty smoke. And of course, I'll definitely let you know later in the video when I do a taste test. But personally, I like what I'm seeing. And this is the perfect time for a reminder. I'm not a how-to channel. I'm just a guy in the backyard cooking and bringing you guys along to hang out with me. And we learn as we go. We see what works and see what doesn't. So not 5 minutes. This is saying it's up to the 180. As you can see, that smoke is gone. I don't know if I believe it's truly 180 or not, but I don't have my meter probe charged up to compare. And I'm just gonna go with what Weber says on their temps. This is gonna be an easy cook. All right, I had planned to be in bed by 10 or 11. It's currently 11:45. I'm gonna check on this before I head to bed. At 10:45, I bumped this up to 225 from the super smoke. But let's raise the lid and see how it's looking. So not much bark development yet, but still less than 3 hours into it. I think I'm gonna go to bed, and when I do, I'm gonna set this at 250 and see it in the morning. All right, good morning. I slept pretty good. I went to bed about 1 o'clock, which is way past my bedtime. Got up at 7:30. I checked the temp from the app, and it said it was at 167. So I went ahead and bumped it just a little bit up to 255. I may go even higher on that, but we're about to raise the hood on that Searwood for the first time to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and do that now. All right, as you can see here, it shows 155 and 168. I was hoping this would be closer to done. It's been on here for 10 hours, but the bark looks pretty good, man. Nice black coating here. The seasoning doesn't really fall off. A little bit does here, but I think it's got too much. I didn't plan on wrapping this, but to speed this up a little bit, I think I'm going to. So the brisket is wrapped. I know I said at the beginning of this video I'd probably do the foil boats, but I went to go reach for the foil and I saw the butcher paper and I thought, what the heck, let's do it. I haven't done that in a long time, so we are good to go there. And as far as pellets go, let's take a look. Not much. I filled this to the top of the grate there when I went to bed last night. Still plenty of pellets left. I didn't even have to top it off. I'm pretty happy about that. Again, these are lumberjack hickory pellets. By the time this finishes cooking and resting, there's no way I'm gonna have this for lunch. This is officially a dinner brisket, but I'm kind of hungry this morning. I'm gonna go get something to eat, so come along with me. So I drove up the road about 15 minutes to Buc-ee's. I absolutely love their breakfast more than anything else here. And 4th of July weekend at a Buc-ee's, I just something about the vibe that I love. But honestly, today so far, it's 4th of July, almost 9 o'clock, and there's hardly anybody here. It's kind of a ghost town, but let's get some breakfast and check out what kind of seasonings they have. So as far as seasoning goes, they have Dano's. That guy's everywhere on social media, and his pricing's pretty good. I mean, this is only $7, but I've never tried any of it. If you have a suggestion, let me know in the comments below. Same for Hardcore Carnivore. Never had any of her seasonings either. Probably should check that out. Now, Killin' Barbecue, great restaurant. SPG from Circle Busters. Circle Busters was actually the first seasoning company I really got hardcore into. God, man, that's been 15 years ago. Great stuff from Circle Busters. I've never heard of Tabanero barbecue sauce. The seasonings they carry seem to change all the time, except for Circle Busters and Meat Church, which we have over here. And of course, you have your Buc-ee's seasoning as well. And actually, Cosmos has been a pretty good staple here. See a lot. I've seen Cosmos here for a long time. Looks like they're out of cow cover, which is my favorite Cosmo seasoning. I want to try their double pepper cow cover, but you can only get that shit. They don't carry it in stores that I've seen so far anyway. So they have brisket egg and cheese tacos, but I'm making a brisket, so that's the last thing that I want here. So I'm gonna grab a sausage biscuit. Yeah, it wasn't near as packed as I thought it was going to be in there, but I'm sure as the day progresses, being 4th of July, we're going to see a lot of people there. But that's the beautiful thing about the having a Searwood and a Wi-Fi enabled grill. I know that's old news for a lot of you guys, but after having that Rectech Bullseye for so long, it's a fresh breath of fresh air to be able to watch that. I'm watching it right now. I wrapped it and the temperature dropped to about 163. Maybe just the placement of the probe being different. But now it's back up to 166. I went ahead and bumped the temperature to 275 because it's 9 o'clock now. I'm hoping this is done by noon. I don't have my hopes up too much right now because it's at 166, but I don't know. We got another 20, 25 degrees to go and it'll be up to temp. But let's dig into this sandwich because I'm not going to be getting a brisket till at least 6 o'clock. Being 4th of July, I may sneak a hot dog in there as well. We'll see. See how hungry I am after this sandwich. Now, Buc-ee's, I used to always get the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. They quit making those for a bagel, which sucked when I got it. And they started going more to a McDonald's-style fried egg instead of the scrambled eggs they used to have. I kind of missed that. If you don't know, I have another channel called Mike is DFW, stands for down for whatever, or Dallas Fort Worth, since I live not too far away, and I am missing my hot sauce. But on that channel, I do a lot of activities around North Texas and beyond, a lot of food reviews, and I have a whole series on Buc-ee's where I try a lot of Buc-ee's foods for you guys. And I tried that croissant sandwich. I'll put a link to that above here if you want to take a look at it. So let's see how this tastes. The biscuit on here is definitely the highlight. Very reminiscent to a Chick-fil-A biscuit. Sausage is okay, a little thin. But the egg, not too bad, even though I prefer it scrambled. Now, the absolute best thing about breakfast at Buc-ee's is they have their green sauce out. This stuff is like crack. I wish they sold it. I'd put it on everything. Definitely takes this sandwich up to the next level. So good. All right, I'm gonna finish this up and I'll see you guys back at the Searwood. So it's 11 o'clock. The temperature on the brisket just hit 190. I wanna go ahead and start probing it myself just to check to see where things are. Not super tender. This is showing 185. Yeah, I would say this has every bit of another hour to go. See what pellet consumption's like. Oh. I've never seen this before. Huh. Is that a burn back? I cleaned this before I cooked. Let's go look at the bottom. Not much ash in there. Dude, I don't know what could be causing this. There's some ash buildup on the wall, but nothing crazy. Huh. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, I've never had that happen. I've only done 2 cooks on here for smoking the ribs I showed you in my initial video. Then I did a chicken, or not chicken breast, but a turkey breast a couple of weeks ago. That was just a 3-hour cook. But yeah, never seen it before. Something I'll definitely keep an eye on. If it gets too bad, I'll just throw it in the oven and finish it off. Because like I said, we're about an hour away from this being done. I went to the Weber Searwood owners Facebook group and posted a video of the burn back to see what could be causing it. Somebody said it was a full fire pot with ash, and I knew deep down that's probably what it was, but I didn't want to have to take this apart. But I did. I shut it down. Took about 10 minutes to do that, and I got my gloves on and I cleaned everything out, and I started it back up, and it was working. During that time, I put it in my oven, and as soon as everything was back up and running, I put it back on the searwood, the brisket. This put the brisket back on the searwood, and as soon as I went inside, I got a notification. This thing's at 200 degrees, so let's go ahead and check on it. But before I do that, I want to show you guys the burn pot. Look at a little clump of ash that got caught in there, and what was causing that. So yeah, that little clump there was causing my issue. I'm glad I went ahead and did the shutdown though. I should have finished this brisket in the oven since I'd already done that, but since I'm making a video about cooking brisket on the searwood, I wanted to finish it on there. But let's take a look at it here. I left my my pan underneath it because a lot of juice in there, and I didn't want it to drip out, so I figured I'm gonna be warm, keeping it warm on that pan. Might as well keep it on there. Let's go back to this hole here. This is showing 196, but it feels pretty good. Let's get a new hole here. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to be doing a long rest on this, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it. Let me check one more spot. Yeah, I'm going to actually let this go just a little bit longer. But when I pull it, I'm not even going to temp it. I'm just going to set it for about 10 minutes. When I used to do the rest on my counter, I would always pull about 205. But I've noticed when I rest it for a long time in my Breville oven, it actually overcooks. It gets a little bit too tender and crumbly. But the last brisket I did, granted, was a flat. I pulled it and it was too tight still. So I'm going to give this a few more moments and then take it off the pit and let it rest. So it is now noon. I pulled it. This thing cooked for 15 hours. That's pretty wild. But I'm going to let it rest here on the counter for about 30 minutes. Then I'm going to put it in my Breville oven and let it warm there until dinner time. See you then. All right, so it's just right about 6 o'clock. I started this thing 21 hours ago. So between cooking and resting, this is a 21-hour cook. Went to go, realized I didn't have latex gloves, so I'm just using this to protect my hands from the warmth of this brisket. But it smells pretty good in here. Let me move this around. I'm still kind of bummed about the, oh wow. Still kind of bummed about the burn pot coming through. This is a mess. I'm going to get another cutting board out. Let's pause. So my bigger cutting board is actually not clean, so we're going to use this half pan. Hopefully catch some of the juices. That's a good thing, right? So much juice, you want to get in the pan to help. I guess tallow would be the official name. I need a new cutting board. This looks pretty good. It's chaotic in here. I decided to go back to the cutting board because it's going to be easier to cut in half here than on that sheet pan. I also have a lot of cleanup to do. Let's take a look there. That looks pretty nice. Overall, pretty good. Let's look at this lean. What do y'all think? I think it looks pretty good. My favorite is the lean, so we're going to try that first. It's a good slice of brisket. It little thick cut, but we're gonna try it. Tenderness is there, near perfect. I'm gonna cut a little thinner slice again. I like the seasoning. As far as smoky flavor, it's not very smoky, but you can tell it's been on the smoker. But I don't know why I can't get a thin cut. It's a little overcooked, it's falling apart. I think I get a thinner cut, that's crazy. We're making sandwiches tonight, so I kind of want a thinner cut. But yeah, pretty good. A little overcooked, but I'm not mad at that at all. Not mad at that at all. It's a great brisket. I'd eat this at a restaurant. Hands down, just prefer a little bit more smoky flavor. I'm not sure how this really compares to the Rectech Bullseye. I need to do a side-by-side comparison. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. So I think my next cook is gonna be some ribs. We're gonna smoke the ribs on the Rectech as well as the Searwood and see how it turns out. But overall, I'm happy with this brisket. Out of all my cookers, this wouldn't be my first choice for a brisket. Solid cook. I mean, the juiciness is fantastic. Overall, I'm happy, but I mean, look at that slice. That slice there is killer. I'm gonna take these gloves off. This is ridiculous. I gotta have clean hands now. But look at this. That's a good looking slice of brisket right there. I mean, tons of moisture, good fat cap. I'm smoke ring, not that that really matters. This is excellently cooked. It just, pellet grills don't give a lot of smoke. Oh well. For my first brisket cook, I'm extremely happy with that. The tenderness and the texture, once I got it sliced right, was pretty damn good. I'm impressed with this. Like I said, it wouldn't be my first choice to cook a brisket. Out of my cookers, I'd rather use my Weber Smoky Mountain. But if I had to cook a brisket and didn't have time to set up the WSM, the Searwood would definitely come in with a pinch and it'd provide a product that I would be ashamed of serving. Like I said, not the heaviest of smoke flavors, but better than anything you can cook in the oven. And for convenience, you can't get much more convenient than that. I slept all night. Like I said, my only concern is that burn back. Again, too much ash was in the fire pot and it caused it to go back through to the hopper. That could get dangerous. So something to keep an eye on for future cooks. Look at the Facebook forum. It seems like that happens on overnight cooks. So got to be careful. But again, for pellet grills, I'm typically only smoking turkey and chicken on them. And then my bigger cuts like pork butt and ribs and brisket, I use the WSM. But good meal. That brisket, I couldn't stop eating it. Is one of the better pellet grill briskets I've ever made. In fact, I would put it in my top 2. I only can remember one other cook on the Rectech that could compete with that one there. That was a success. I'm quite happy with the Weber Searwood outside the burn back, but something I could probably take a little bit of blame to it. I said I cleaned it, but I was thinking back to it. I did cook some steaks on it, and yeah, that could have definitely played a part into it. Plus, you know, it was cooking for over 12 hours when that started happening. But I'm happy with the Weber Searwood. Let me know in the comments below if you've had any issues with the burn back, and if you found anything that could stop that from happening in the future. So I'm not afraid to go to sleep with that going. All right, I appreciate you watching to the very end. It means the world to me you guys watch. This is a lot of fun. I like taking you guys on with cooks. It's a whole lot more fun when people are watching. Until the next video, the fire is out.